Yes, Business Live Global. Hello. It is I, Johnny Boy, the Consumer Monkey McDonald, here with yet another interview with a business person, a mover, a shaker, a charity, a paradigm shifter. Who knows who will be on? It's always going to be interesting and it's always going to be varied. And if you think you've got some added value for the Business Live community, which is now, it's occurring in 5 countries live, and we are internationally through our online events. Join us today and put yourself forward for an interview where you get to choose the questions I ask, and not only that, but you get to choose a favourite song of yours as well. So it's all win-win, win-win, win-win. So let's see who we've got in the room for today. Bringing people, data and numbers together, I give you Sophie Carr. Sophie, good morning, evening, afternoon.
Hello, how are you today?
All the better for seeing you. How are you?
I'm really well, thank you. I'm really well, having a really good day.
Excellent. So talk to the BLG audience. So you moved from engineering to statistics.
That's right, yeah. I trained as an aeronautical engineer. I got my first job as an aeronautical engineer. I was a trials engineer and flew around the world. Wow. It really was the stuff of dreams. I am that kid who grew up with a dream of wanting to play with aeroplanes and went and did it. And just 24 years old, had the job I dreamed of all my life, literally all my life. And I didn't think it could get better. And I became interested in how people hit information overload. And it was before that was a common term. So I asked if I could do a PhD. It really was that simple. I asked if I could do a PhD part-time, and this thing called Bayesian statistics entered my life, Bayesian belief networks, and I didn't think anything could be as great as aeroplanes. Turns out statistics is, and I moved into being a statistician slowly and steadily. But I still work at that cutting edge of where statistics and engineering meet a lot of the time.
Right. It was at that Inspirational Women in STEM, and that's where we met each other. Were you a winner?
I was. I was very, very surprised to make the shortlist.
Fantastic.
Yes, I have my award sitting in the office just over to the side of me. There was such a phenomenal group of women at that event.
That was just wild.
To be nominated was amazing. To get the certificate was like, gosh, I really did not think I would win, and it was amazing. Yeah. So, female in STEM, particularly in maths, my certificate says.
Yes, we were talking before about maths and how it has to. You've got to bring things alive if you want children to learn them.
Yeah, but not just children. And
not just children.
I think maths people have a perception that maths is dull, and that maths isn't a living subject, and that mathematicians don't have raging debates, really big debates. And actually maths is one of the most collaborative subjects I know. It's where we have all sorts of discussions, and for me it's given me a career the likes of which I could never have dreamed of. But it's a thing, it's a living thing with stories behind it, and it's how it works. It makes the world move.
So how is it? So the air engineering work and pilot work, that's just fantastic. Then into statistics, and then into business. So what is it you're doing for businesses? Is it business to business or business to consumer?
So it's business to business.
Okay.
Base consulting works business to business. And I guess the thread that links to all of those things actually is patterns and fluids. And I say I've spent my whole career making a living out of finding patterns. And that's actually the truth. Fluid mechanics is just waves. Statistics is just waves. And base consulting, I guess we cut across 3 areas. So we do a little bit of training if you want to know more about stats and data science. We also do consultancy. And we hire mathematicians and statisticians, and we're really, really good at maths and stats and predictions. But we also have a couple of services that we offer. And one of those is a crowd model that shows how crowds move in response to stressors. And that's for crowd management at large events and places like that. And we also predict home hazards, cold, mold and damp, to help councils understand how they can become carbon neutral and make decent homes. So we do a range of different things.
That's crazy. And you're using the statistics and mathematics to do this.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, people, like I say, people forget that maths and stats is how life moves, but can make the world a better place. I mean, I genuinely believe that. Maths, it's maths, not magic. That's what we say. It's maths that actually helps things. Lots of things can be written down. And when you think of maths, it is not an equation on a page. We type them into code, we make them into algorithms. But understanding how things move, a lot of it is maths.
You described waves. I wasn't looking at your body language, but you experience the maths in your mind, don't you?
So I guess there's two things. If I go right back to being 16 years old, the thing that actually sparked my imagination was fluid mechanics in A-level physics, actually seeing waves, literal waves move. I thought it was amazing, just genuinely amazing. And then to find out that this is how airplanes fly. And yes, I see waves. And so fluid mechanics was something I could visualize quite easily in my head. I could see how the molecules were moving. Statistics, we call them distributions. They are waves, they are shapes, they are curves, they are patterns, they move. And sometimes you can see them. I don't very often, but you can see, or you have an inclination how something might move. But a lot of that is practice. A lot of it. If you do something often enough, you start to understand how things change, and you can almost predict. Sometimes you get surprised, but just doing things a lot of times means you have an understanding about what might happen.
So the environmental side of things, it would be a council that would call you in?
Yeah. So we work with a couple of other partners to deliver services to county councils, combined authorities, landlords, to help them understand the risk or the potential prevalence of cold, mold and damp in their properties. And that's really important. That helps everybody, because if we can work towards making the world carbon neutral, net zero, to also having people living in decent homes, to understand where, if you've got to retrofit, you should start, that helps a lot of different people. So it's something that we've been working on for quite a while now. We're really proud of what we have.
So my question to you is then, you have developed this business, and it's a pretty wide range of applications. Like we said earlier, when you say everyone, you mean no one. So what learning has surprised you most as you've built this business?
I guess there's a few things that you pick up along the way, and the one that sticks with me is, and it's actually one of our company values, is that it is nice to be nice. There's a lot of things out there about how the world of business is shark and dog eat dog and all of that, and that's true to some extent. And maybe I've been lucky, but the more I've talked, the more I've listened, the more I've realized that if we're just nice to people, they're nice back. And actually, you can build a community, you can build a business by being nice. And actually, what I found is that the more I read and the more voices I hear and the more points of view I get to see, the better it is for everybody. And I guess that's the big learning, where everybody says you've got to run and be the biggest and you've got to have exponential growth. Actually, finding your path and taking your time has meant that Bays has grown very slowly in comparison to other businesses, but we've grown in a way that for us is sustainable and manageable and lets us be who we should be.
Well, the word there that's so on the money is sustainable, because it's just we are running on such a industrial revolution model of how the mind works, and it's just people are getting burnt out, and so companies aren't even getting the best out of them. So
that shouldn't be a way to work.
It shouldn't be, really. Okay, so where do you see Bays going in the future?
Oh, well, that's a really big question, isn't it? So
existential.
We're going to grow, but we're going to grow at our own pace, and we're going to grow in a way that means we can keep looking after people first, because that is another one of our company values, is people first. I would like to see a world where everybody's lives is positively impacted by maths. That's the vision.
Okay.
That's where we want to get to, where everybody is positively impacted by maths, where their world is safer, better, kinder, nicer. And we're doing that through maths. So that's where we want to get to, ultimately.
Wow. Okay, well, so just changing the world.
Yeah.
In a good way. And you think globally, don't you? You can see applications that, yeah.
When you're working like we do in the cloud and you're going over Teams or Zoom or however you're talking to people, it doesn't matter where they are. We work across time zones, we can work across countries, across nations. That's absolutely fine. We are a company of about 11 people and we have 8 native languages.
Wow.
So we're good.
So in a wrap up before we play your song, Paul Weller, isn't it? No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Hold on. It's Peter Gabriel.
It's Gabriel, yeah, that's it.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
What does this song mean to you?
So this song has all sorts of connotations for me. So I grew up in the north of England and I played in a brass band, and brass bands were a really big part of my life when I was little. I loved music when I was little. I still do. So brass bands meant a lot. I also like the film, but I really like the words. And I really like the words where it's just a little bit further down the road each day. Just keep going and just do it as you're doing. And sooner or later, somebody will say that'll do. And it's like, that's it. You just have to keep going and you have to keep your head up. And sometimes it's a horrible grind, but there's a goodness in the world. And
absolutely.
Put a step forward. That's it.
Fantastic. Well, beautiful message. Sophie Carr, thank you for being interviewed on Business Live Global.
Thank you for having me.
A kind and steady heart can make a gray sky blue, and a task that seems impossible is quite possible for you. A kind and steady heart is sure to see you through. It may not seem like very much right now, but it'll do, it'll do. When you find yourself in the middle of a storm and you're tired and cold and wet, and you're looking for a place that's cozy and warm, you make it if you never forget. A kind and steady heart can conquer doubt and fear. A little courage goes a long, long way, gets you a little bit further down the road each day. And before you know it, you'll hear someone say, "That'll do, babe, that'll do." steady heart is sure to see you through. A little courage goes a long, long way, gets you a little bit further down the road each day. And before you know it, you'll hear someone say, that'll do, that'll do.